welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Karish, but everyone calls me Rishi, and I'm a Bahamian YouTuber. So today's video is gonna be a little bit about my story living with sickle cell disease. So what exactly is sickle cell disease? Sickle cell anemia is a hematological disorder that is hereditary. It's caused by a mutation in the HBB gene that encodes the beta globin protein of hemoglobin. The mutation leads to the production of abnormal hemoglobin, also called HbS, which causes red blood cells to become rigid and crescent-shaped or banana-shaped. These misshapen cells can obstruct blood flow, which leads to pain, organ damage, and anemia. So, the pathology of sickle cell disease includes intense pain caused by vaso-occlusive crisis, swollen hands, which is the result of blood vessel blockage in small bones, yellowish color, which is the breakdown of abnormal red blood cells releasing extra bilirubin, and stunted growth, which is chronic anemia and poor oxygen delivery. There are certain things that can trigger what's called a sickle cell crisis. So a sickle cell crisis is basically just experiencing severe pain all throughout the body. Sometimes it can, come with infection, or you be severely anemic. You might develop what's called an acute chest syndrome. It just depends on the patient, what's going on, and what is happening with you specifically. So my personal triggers would include like very cold weather, very hot weather, dehydration, change in weather, so rain, snow, and I was in Canada, but yeah, severe stress and anxiety, poor eating habits, my menstrual cycle, so periods and stuff like that, strenuous activity. And for me personally, if I get an asthma attack, then that would eventually lead to a sickle cell crisis. But yeah, overexerting yourself, overexertion causes it as well. So it's a lot of things. And the beach, yeah. So being in salt water for too long, that also can trigger a sickle cell crisis. And I live on the Bahamas. I'm an island girl. I love going to the beach. When I was younger, there was this one time specifically, I went to the beach and my family had to take me to the emergency room immediately after. It was so traumatic. The pain that I felt that day, I was like, wow, I'm never going into salt water ever again. But as I grew older, I realized, I could still do it. I just can't, do it as long as everyone else or as a normal person. So when I go to the beach, I try not to spend more than 15 to 20 minutes in the water, because I know what's going to happen to me. And for example, like when my periods come around, like when my menstrual cycle is on, in advance I would take painkillers, preventative care, so that I don't get into a crisis. There are certain stuff that you have to do. You have to make decisions if you want to be in the best health. And I think that the certain stuff, they just can't be avoided. No matter how many pills you might be taking, no matter, you might be doing all the right things, you will still get sick. That's just how it is. That's just the reality. That's the sad reality of living with sickle cell. But like I said, don't let it hold me back. I continue to live life to the fullest. Everyone who knows me know that I try to, not only do well academically, but socially and spiritually, emotionally. I've gone through a lot of mental hardships. And being in therapy has really helped me to have a positive eye on my living situation with sickle cell disease. It's not a bad thing to reach out for help. It's a bad thing when you suffer in silence. So just remember that there are a lot of resources out there, not only for sickle cell disease, but for your mental health as well. I think it's very important to take advantage of any resources that are available, because we do need it, and we do need it, like we do. So it's no denying that. So now that you all understand or should have an understanding of what sickle cell is exactly, I just want to touch a bit on my personal story living with this disease. So I was diagnosed with sickle cell anemia, HBSS, when I was only 15 months of age. My parents, each of them, both had the trait, and so I ended up with the full disease. As I said, sickle cell is hereditary, so it does run in my family. I have an aunt that had the disease as well. She passed away in 2019. And I also have another aunt who has it as well. My sister has the trait, and both of my parents has the trait, like I said. So yeah, I was pretty much diagnosed at a very young age, and I've been in and out of the hospital since I was a baby. Living with sickle cell anemia has truly impacted my life in both negative and positive ways. There are so many hardships that I've endured, but they've made me into the person that I am today. I feel like if I was never diagnosed with this chronic illness, and if I did not have this disease attached to me, that I would not be the person that I am today. Sickle cell obviously is a grueling, painful, severely serious disease, but it does shape you into the person that you become. I've gone through so much personal development, and each traumatic experience, each hospitalization, each procedure has left not only a physical scar, but a mental scar that ties my heart together and allows me to continue doing what I do. Although I go through life living with sickle cell disease, I don't let it hold me back, and I don't let it stop me. So with that being said, I want to firstly talk about living with sickle cell disease and missing out on important opportunities. So sickle cell is very unpredictable. It's very unpredictable, and there's no telling what can happen and where. There are many times that you can get a crisis, and it will cause you to miss out on a lot of important dates, celebrations, etc. I've spent Christmas in the hospital, New Year's in the hospital, my birthday, my mother's birthday. I've missed out on funerals, parties, and let's not forget the countless days and weeks that I've missed out on school. But despite all of that, sharing those special moments in the hospital with strangers and with people that love and support you, they will come and visit you and make you feel like you're not alone. I feel like having a good support system during those times is very important, because to not be in the comfort of your own home while missing out on these important holidays, it's very sad. But I feel like once you have people who love you, that are surrounding you and that are willing to stay with you through those times, then it's all gonna be fine, and you're gonna be okay. So piggybacking off of what I said earlier, that it can cause you to miss out on certain opportunities, there have been moments that I've had interviews scheduled, that I've had appointments scheduled, and I've ended up in the hospital and couldn't make it. It's very unpredictable, and it's unfortunate. It's something that's not in my control, and luckily there have been people in my life that have been able to work with me. But yeah, it's just, you never know what's gonna happen, and I feel like it's always good to prepare those in your life and prepare those around you, that anything can happen to me at any given time, and it's up to them if they're gonna accept you for who you are or not. Luckily, I have a good support system. Like I said, people have always supported me. They have never looked down on me. Aside from all of the other people that do have their own opinions about my disease and about the way that I use my platform to spread awareness, I think everybody else is pretty considerate and understanding, and that is all you need to continue doing what you're doing. Sickle cell anemia has never stopped me from achieving my dreams. From primary school, I was always a go-getter. I was always a 4.0 student, all A's, all B's, all A's and B's, and I've always continued making the grade. I have done speeches about living with sickle cell disease and making the grade. And I think it's just very important to emphasize the fact that sickle cell patients, children who are in school, that is, have to work 10 times as hard as the normal student, because not only are we missing out on school and we're missing out on work and content, but when we miss those homework due dates, quizzes, tests, and examinations, we have to study in the hospital sometimes, or even harder because we will have to get like an alternate version of the exam. And sometimes, you know, people can make it harder to like ensure that there is a fair chance of, you know, everybody having the same amount of difficulty, the same level of difficulty, on whatever that examination is. So all my life I've had to be running behind teachers to make up work, to, you know, have other people mark my work, sometimes even when they couldn't mark it because they were already done with grading, you know, just to like update grades, to change zeros, you know, to get me exempt from certain assignments that I got zeros for. It's just a lot of stuff. And I feel like when you're working overtime like that, you deserve praise. Honestly, sickle cell has been very depressing. Being in high school, I remember literally I was studying for my BGCSE examinations in the hospital, and it was just something that I would never want to wish on anybody. If you know me, you know that I study a lot, and during this time it was like the peak of COVID, I would say. And so having to go through that while in the hospital, could not even really prepare myself, could not focus on the progress of my health and getting better. I was just focused on, wow, like I need to study this, I need to learn this, because when I come out the hospital, the exam, they're not going to give me a makeup date. Like I have to take it on the day that everybody else is taking it, and everybody else isn't in a hospital bed like I am, so they're at an advantage. So I have to work twice as hard to take the same exam as everybody else, just, you know, with like considering these circumstances. So it's always been like small stuff like that that has been like very mentally draining, but I've always been able to push through and to succeed academically. And yeah, so currently I am in university. I have, if you've been watching my channel or keeping up with me, or if you know me, whatever, I have been I graduated high school in 2023, and I went off to the University of Guelph in Canada. I only did one semester at that university, and unfortunately had to withdraw my education due to being hospitalized a total of 7 times. The hospitalizations in Canada really did take a toll on my mental health, because not only was my family not there, but I only had the support of friends that I made at the time. Although this emotional and physical support was greatly appreciated, there's nothing like a mother's love, you know, there's nothing like a father's love, there's nothing like being with your family, especially like when they're 1,000 miles away. You're gonna feel lonely, you're gonna feel sad, and you're gonna be going through depression, and that's genuinely how I was. But yeah, so as I mentioned in my video, there are common triggers of sickle cell anemia, and so living in Canada, being in the cold weather, it really did not do me any well. It just caused my disease to flare up all the time. I was sick all the time. When I tell you, sometimes I didn't get admitted, but still went to the ER and received medication. Or sometimes I was in a crisis in my dorm, but didn't have to go to the hospital, thank God. It was just really, really draining. I couldn't really focus on my schoolwork because I was always sick. And I'm not even exaggerating, like I'll include pictures and stuff, but it's just been very hard on me. And so that's why my parents made the decision to remove me from that university. And honestly, if I had the chance to go back, I would not. And that's just the sad reality. It was a great school, but the wrong environment, and there was no way that I could try to like make it work out and stay. I feel like God, and I'm going to continue saying this, God will never allow you to find peace or be fully happy in an environment that is not meant for you. So when I realized that I was continuously getting sick all these times and was like struggling to, you know, stay in school, that I was always in the hospital back to back, once a month, twice a month, and the pain crisis that I was having, it was so severe, you know. I realized that this is not how I want to live. If I can move somewhere and be safer, be more healthy, I would do it. So I left. After leaving Canada, I stayed home. I took a semester off for 4 months, and I was only sick for about 3 or 4 times that I had to get admitted. I think 3 times actually. It was not 4. It was not more than 3. I can say that for sure. At this time, I had started applying to new universities. My 2 top choices were between Barry University and NSU. If you know me, or if you've been watching my videos, you know that I go to Barry University, and I just completed my first year there. So at Barry University, I actually struggled a lot physically dealing with my sickle cell anemia. I did think that moving from Canada to a warmer climate in Miami would help me, but honestly, it's not just the weather that triggers my sickle cell anemia. So there are a lot of different factors that you have to take into account when making certain decisions, and that's why I'll be continuing my education at Barry University, because it doesn't make sense to keep moving because there are other things that contribute to me being ill. So yeah, at Barry University, I was hospitalized within this academic year about 7 or 8 times. I don't really remember the number. I do know that I was not hospitalized as much during the first semester as I was during the second semester. Once January rolled around, I don't want to say that it was the winter season that caused my sickle cell flare-ups, but it was more so personal hygiene and personal health issues that I have going on. So like sometimes if I was like really stressed out, then I would fall ill. If I was like on my menstrual cycle, I would fall ill, you know, certain stuff like that. And then I also had to be very mindful of my diet, be very mindful of certain activities that I would participate on around campus. Like I couldn't do certain stuff that other people were doing, or I couldn't go certain places with people, you know. And it's all just not out of like spite or hatred. It's just out of preventative measures, because I know how it feels to be in a hospital and to end up in a hospital. And so if there are things that I can stop doing or can quit doing in order to keep myself healthy, then I'm gonna do that. So yeah, that's how it was. I pretty much, I don't want to say was living on eggshells at Barry University, but I just really made sure to take my time and to like not get sick. I mean, I still did, but like it's out of my control. And like I said, sickle cell is very unpredictable. And so I just had to live with it, and I made it. So my testimony is that I have completed high school. I'm currently going to be a sophomore at Barry University. I'm currently doing a summer job. And once I attain my bachelor's degree in pre-professional biology, it is my plan to go to medical school. And I plan on becoming a pediatric hematologist and pulmonologist. I do really want to come back to my country and start my own firm for pediatric hematology and pulmonology patients, because we do really need that here in the Bahamas. And I really do think that since a young age, I've been a voice. I've been a very strong advocate for sickle cell disease in the Bahamas, not just in the Bahamas, but everywhere I go, I take it with me. And you know, it's something that is so near and dear to my heart that I will never stop talking about. I've been bullied and I've been made fun of for always talking about sickle cell and always posting about sickle cell. But until you're in my position or you're in my shoes, then you don't know what I go through, and you don't really understand why I raise awareness the way I do. It's something that I go through. It's something that a lot of other people like myself go through. Something that has caused the deaths of many, many, many patients. And in the Bahamas, there are so many people living with the sickle cell trait and don't even know it. And I feel like that's the reason why we need to continue raising awareness. Once you are tested and once you get screened for sickle cell anemia or for the trait or whatever, then you will know how to plan your future, and like, you know, just to take precautionary measures. I just think that way it will be a significant decrease. I almost said slight, but it would be a significant decrease in the amount of sickle cell anemia patients that we see on a yearly basis. It is so important to donate also to those who, if you can donate. It's so important to donate if you can donate, because there are so many sickle cell patients on a monthly basis in the hospitals in the Bahamas that require blood transfusions, and not just in the Bahamas, in general. If you are a donor, it is such a good habit to donate. At Barry University, they have this donor truck that comes every once in a while, I think at the beginning and the end of the month, and people donate. And that blood not only goes to hematology patients, but you're saving the lives of so many people that are in the hospital. I feel like every day, not only above ground, is a good day, like Pitbull said, but it's a good day if you're not living with a chronic illness. I don't want to say that people are fortunate, but people are truly blessed to not have to go through what people with chronic illnesses and disabilities go through on a daily basis. And that's just the facts. So yeah. So on this World Sickle Cell Awareness Day, I do want to say that I will be launching my very own website. Unfortunately, it will not be ready for this World Sickle Cell Awareness Day, but I'm trying to get it launched during Sickle Cell Awareness Month, which is September. So by September, my website should be up and running. It's going to be called C's Sickle Cell Community, so Carisha's Sickle Cell Community. And I don't want to say any more because, yeah, I want it to be epic. I want it to be a surprise. I want it to be great, and I want it to touch the lives of many sickle cell warriors like myself. So, yes. So for World Sickle Cell Awareness Day this year, I just thought that I would come on here and share my story, share what I experienced, and just talk to you guys to continue raising awareness. This video is simply just to raise awareness, not only to the new people that are on my YouTube, but just in general. I don't know how far I will reach, and if it doesn't reach far, I would have done my part, and that's all that matters to me. So yes, with that being said, if you are a sickle cell warrior out there, I see you, I hear you, and I stand with you, and we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be just fine. So that brings me to the end of the video, guys. If you are still watching, you made it far. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. Make sure to hit the like button, guys, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I will be posting more content this summer. Hopefully I'm gonna do like a summer recap video, and also just a move-in day video, a room tour, stuff like that for the upcoming academic season. So be sure to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos and you stay in the loop. So I'm gonna see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay blessed. God knows best. Bye.